Hello, welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, hello, my name is Stacy. I am doing a deep dive of a brand. This week is about Too Faced. We're going to look at how the brand started, changes that they've made, their stance on sustainability, price points, all that kind of thing, while I'm getting ready using some of their products. I also wanted to this is totally random, off topic of this, but I wanted to share it with you because I've been using this and you probably are like, okay, why do you have like a scrunchie with a little pillow? But I just wanted to give you an update if you happen to see my Temu haul. If not, I'll leave that up above and down in the cards. You can watch that next. But it's like a scrunchie attached to a little cushion for like your wrist. If you could get two actually if you wanted to, and this could be for when you're typing, but I have it on my right hand when I use it for the mouse. So it's just nice because, you know, it protects, gives you the right angle. This is 98 cents. If you have not tried Temu, sorry if this is annoying, but I gotta do a little plug. If you have not tried Temu, I do have a code and a link. It's affiliate, so I will get some commission, but you can get 30% off your first time order. Now it's only off your first order, so you got to make it count. Now on to Too Faced. A lot of brands put on their website, it's very clear. They have an about me section, about us, you know, our story, that kind of thing. When I went to their website, I could not find anything labeled that. There was no page on that. So when I Googled it, it appeared that there was a page. It came up and you could kind of see the little blurb, you know. But then when I went to click on it to read more, it just took me to the homepage of the website. So I could not find anywhere where on their site they actually had an about us. Then when I Googled their mission statement, I did find an article that talked about it, but this is what it said, their mission statement. At Too Faced, we believe makeup is power, giving women the freedom to express themselves and the confidence to take on the world. Makeup is so much more than a little color on your face. It's a mood booster and a powerful ally. So be a star, shimmer it up, and take over the world. Let's talk about how they started, and then I'll go over through the years. I'm not going to go through every single product launch, but just kind of some of the highlights and things that have happened throughout the year, including some scandals. Jared Blandino and Jeremy Johnson are who started the company. They are the co-founders. They were business partners in, well, business, but also in real life. They started the company in 1998. Jared Blandino, he grew up in California. He was born in 1970, and he was a very artistic child. He ended up working at Estee Lauder at the counter at Saks Fifth Avenue. And it is said that it wasn't like his dream job or anything. That wasn't what he set out to do, but it just kind of happened, and then he found that he liked it. Being an artistic person, he didn't actually like the current, well, he got bored with what was currently in the market at that time. He thought there just needed some more excitement, so he would actually take home some of the samples from Estee Lauder, and he would go to other counters and get their samples. He would take them home, mix up his concoction in the microwave, put it in like a Tupperware container, and bring it to work the next day and apply it on his clients. And even other makeup artists started bringing him their products and saying like, here, make some stuff for me and I'll come back and get it. So he was developing quite a name for himself with being, you know, a creative person. But of course, you know, Saks, when they got wind of this, they didn't really care for that. But surprisingly, they didn't fire him. Jeremy was also working for Estee Lauder, but in their business office. He had started as a manager for Giorgio Armani, and then he got a job with Chanel working in their beauty. So that's where he kind of segued into the beauty industry. He came to Estee Lauder. He was working as retail distribution and events for the LA area. It is said that they met in a salon in 1995 in San Francisco. They were legally married in 2008 in California as well. Too Faced trademark was filed on August 19th of 1997. The official registration date for Too Faced was 7/27/1999. And interesting enough, when you look up to try to find the first trademark date for Too Faced, the name that's attached is Susan Little as being the original applicant. The first new owner after publication is Jared W. Blandino. I mean, I think pretty much, anybody can file for trademarks if it is open, so maybe she filed for it and then never did anything with it, or, I don't know, and it was either like open because it had been so long, or I don't know, but there wasn't anything more when I tried to Google her name plus Too Faced. Nothing came up, so I don't think that she really has any relationship with the brand. The first use in commerce date for that trademark is in February 23rd of 1998. Jared would actually call, not to their face, but some of the customers at the counter Too Faced, because he would say that they would be super nice and just, oh, so friendly. And then the minute he said that they were out of their favorite product and have it, they would turn into very angry women. So that's where he thought Too Faced, because they're Too Faced. During his lunch hour, he would actually take his Too Faced cosmetics that he, made in his home, and he would go pitch it to Nordstrom's and, try to get it all over the place during his lunch break. And they realized that if they were going to make a go at it, they needed to get a lab. You can't grow if you're going to be making the products in your kitchen. They used both of their ties with Estee Lauder. So they found a lab, which, remember, this is the late 90s. They opened the phone book and found a lab in the yellow pages, called them. They are from Estee Lauder, and that they would like to come in and discuss a brand idea with the lab. Well, if you're the lab in Estee Lauder, you feel like somebody's from Estee Lauder is calling, of course you're going to say yes. So they didn't quite, wasn't quite upfront about that. But hey, it got them in, right? They meet with the lab. They're working on that. Jared is still working at the counter. They used their savings, got a loan from the parents, to create or to work with the lab so that they could get things going and kind of off the ground. Sounds like the plan was to kind of, for him to keep working at the counter until it really got going. But the universe had some different ideas. There was an article in Vogue magazine. It wasn't a big article, but it was an article about Too Faced Cosmetics and how it was this new brand launching. They had 8 eyeshadows, 8 lipsticks, and 10 nail polishes. Wouldn't you know, his boss saw that article, called him in, they asked him, what he was doing, and it wasn't totally clear on this. It didn't sound like, even at this point, that they were going to fire him, or maybe he could tell that they were going to fire him and then he quit. I couldn't find the distinction about that, but that resulted in him leaving the Estee Lauder counter and him and Jeremy saying they were going to go all in on Too Faced. Being that they were in the LA area, he was able to contact TV shows and pitch them, give them the Too Faced cosmetics and say, hey, I want you to use it on set, on the actresses and fashion shows. So he really was just getting the brand and the products out there. It's reported that Too Faced Cosmetics was actually used on the set of Will and Grace and The View in the 90s. But really, that was probably enough to get them talked about, but really what kind of pushed them into the forefront was Madonna. She wore some of their glitter eyeshadows to the MTV Music Video Awards. So their original line, as I mentioned, they had 8 lipsticks, and I guess they all tasted like chocolate. So even at the beginning, their roots, they were doing the chocolate. They had names like Marsha, 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 which was a frosty pink, Drop Dead Red, a dark red, Miss Thing, which was a peach beige, Trampula, deep blue, Pixie Stick, a frosty purple, That Girl, described as an orangey copper, Hot Flash, metallic raspberry, and Bionic, which was a metallic silver. I couldn't find any pictures or anything about the nail polishes. All I could find is that they were supposed to match back to the lipsticks. Also could not find any pictures of the original eyeshadows. In 2018, they released the Then and Now palette, which was an anniversary palette. And the weird thing is okay, the blog post and articles that I found said that the original was 8 eyeshadows. But then some of the blog posts and like when I looked on Pinterest that was talking about this palette, their captions said that there was 10 of the original shadows were included in this palette. But then is it 8 or 10? That launch also brought back some of the original lipstick shades where you could purchase them as, you know, a relaunch. It does sound like they had both single and duo shadows at the beginning. And one of the examples was called Ooh and Ah Duo, and it was an original black matte shadow with glitter. Jared says that Too Faced created the first glitter eyeshadow. There was like frosty and shimmery eyeshadow before him, but I guess he means maybe probably like the level of glitter. So what I was finding is that it's kind of, some people question if that's really a true claim, but that is what he claims. He says that he was in the lab talking to the technician and said that he wanted a black shimmer glittery eyeshadow. And the technician said, we don't do that. That doesn't work. He didn't take no for an answer. He was wearing, I guess, a black shirt with some silver detailing, and that was his inspiration. So he went over to different parts of the factory, got a thing of glitter, and said, here, put this in there. They mixed it up, and ta-da, the rest is history. A matte glitter shadow was formed. Oh, that's a pretty blue. This is the first time I'm using this. I've used the purple. It does seem like this. Let me see if I use my fingers. Ooh, okay. Oh yeah, definitely apply with your fingers if you want the biggest shimmer. Jared did create the early logo for the brand, this cartoon-like lady, and her name was Envy. In 1999, they started selling at Sephora. It was estimated at the time they were worth $2 million already. Their focus really was to go for the teen customer. They advertised in teen, 17, YM. However, in 2001 is when I'd say that they kind of shifted and to include a more broad audience, because at that time they partnered with QVC. Seemed like they were going, you know, and this continued for many years, where it was on one hand you have all this cutesy, glittery stuff, and then on the other hand you kind of have like the sexy kind of names, and they also came out with the Quickie Chronicle palettes. And this was inspired by pinup girls. So not like risque with pinup girls, but you know what I mean? It was just kind of a couple little things. In 2007, they launched the Shadow Insurance, which is an eyeshadow primer, and they still do have that today. I don't have a ton of Too Faced products. It retails currently for $26. They also tried, unsuccessfully, but they tried to trademark some phrases with the word naked in it. But at that time, Too Faced, Urban Decay already had been using naked and already launched their naked palette, so they couldn't go forward with that. In 2005 is when they came out with the Lip Injection Lip Gloss, which is a lip plumper, and I would say that that is one of kind of their holy grail products. They have actually expanded that lip injection line. They have a maximum extra strength, also a liquid lip, and a, now this is newer, a lip injection lip shaper lip liner. So those ranges from $24 to $33. I have tried the lip injection lip plumper once. Now normally lip plumpers in general, I have had a couple work for me, but in general they don't really do much for me. I can feel a little bit of tingling usually, but not a huge amount. But that one, I had to wipe it off because I don't know if it was the maximum or just the regular one. It's been a while now since I had that. My lips burned and tingled and I was like, no, this is not for me. Have you tried that one and did you have the same experience? The original lipsticks wasn't a huge success. Now they had more success, more known. They relaunched lipsticks 2007. And of course, they were much more successful this time around. They partnered 50-50 with Fuse Beverages and came up with 3 lip glosses. They were supposed to contain ingredients that suppressed your appetite. And their tagline was always on the lips, never on the hips. There is some fallout from the glitter. So if you don't have this palette yet, or if you have it and you haven't used it for a while, just as a FYI, I would make sure you are doing your eye makeup before your foundation. I'm going to put on the Hangover Replenishing Face Primer. This has coconut water in it, silicone free. In 2009 is when the bronzers came onto the scene. No scent to the primer, by the way. Why he created them, he has said that his sister was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma. So he created a bronzer so that people could get a tan safely. Now, his sister is healthy though, so yay, that's good. So the idea of having chocolate scented products. Most of the stories contribute his inspiration for this for a chocolate facial that he got. Now, I think that was probably the most inspiration, but I did find a couple articles where he was quoted of saying also that he loved scratch and sniff stickers as a child, so he wanted, his makeup to be an experience. This is his quote. I was in Hawaii getting a chocolate facial and was loving the moisturizing and anti-age properties of cocoa. I did a little digging into cocoa and it's amazing for your skin. Also in 2012, they started launching eyeshadow palettes. They had the Naturally Sexy palette, Summer Eye palette, and they started to do holiday collections. Their packaging was so cute and so different that people were collecting their products. So they came out with various different holiday collections. There was different versions for each place that they were sold. Now in 2013 is when they came out with the 9-pan tin palettes. The Boudoir eyes, their names were like Garter Belt, French Tickler, Lap Dance, Satin Sheets. They also had a palette called No Makeup Makeup, and that was their face palette. But then this is where we see that kind of two sides of the brand. So you have this, Garter Belt, Satin Sheets, but then the holiday collection, they came out with a palette that called Jingle that looked like a phone. And I feel like when I look at that, there we have again that kind of like Claire's makeup, kind of feel teen. Okay, this mascara is not Too Faced. I do have a Too Faced one, but then when I pulled it out,